Testing 1 2 3. There we go. All right. Let's get into it. Let's just get into the game. I want to start off showing you guys the stats real quick here. This was discouraging. This is a discouraging game, everybody. Like, I'm not gonna really come on here and try to find the good in this one. This was not a great game. This was not a great game. Yeah. I mean, nothing I can really do. I can't really sit here and tell you guys that it's gonna be all right and that there were some things that look good today. Like, I was at this point in the game where we were down, I think, 21-0. And I was just like, okay, we're going to lose the game no matter what. I'm just going to try to look for anything good that I can take away from this. And I could not find anything. Harburg played all right. Harburg played an all right game today. Okay. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough from him. Well, let me take this off the screen real quick. There we go. It wasn't a good enough game from Harburg. It wasn't a good enough game from Harburg. The run defense was really bad. Blake Corum was eating us up. J.J. McCarthy had all day in the pocket. He was really good today. J.J. McCarthy really proved to us, hey, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the game of college football. Yeah, like we were just the worst team today. We got outcoached every phase of it. Just frustrating. Just frustrating. Mr. Raj says, well, I'm mad disappointed, and I just thought we'd be more competitive. What happened to our preparation and game planning? I mean, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. At some point in time, and I understand, like, Michigan has more talent than us. Like, I'm not going to, they do. They have more talent than us. They have 5 stars. They develop better. Their trenches are better. Everything about their team is better than ours comparatively, okay? However, I thought that, for whatever reason, Matt Rule would kind of put together a better game plan where, maybe we'd be, like, down, like, a touchdown going into halftime. And I thought something along those lines would happen, right? Where we'd be competitive and we'd, do our best and try our hardest, and then it went away from us in the second half. That did not happen. We lost this game 5 minutes in. We were already down 14-0, right? And people were leaving for the exits. So, really frustrating game. I'm going to go through my notes real quick, guys. Just kind of go through what I thought was going on. So, let's start off with the first quarter. So, Singleton went down like the second play of the ball game. Deshaun Singleton, our safety. He was grabbing his knee, did not return. That's something to watch out for. He was helped off the field, so he couldn't walk on his own weight. That could be really bad for us. Could be an ACL. Could be a strain, though. So I don't expect him to play anytime soon. Had a couple good stops to start the game, but then the Michigan converted a 4th down. Roman Wilson, of course, broke this game off from the start. Had a big touchdown catch, and that was just really poor coverage. I mean, Isaac Gifford did a good job to contest that, but he needs to turn his head around. And it seems like this is the 3rd week in a row where I continuously notice Isaac Gifford not making plays and giving up big plays. He's never getting really burnt, but he always, when the ball's in the air, he's not making the right play and gives up, something like this. Harburg had a pick, first pick of his career. It really wasn't his fault. It was just a low ball, really low ball. He was trying to squeeze it in there to Billy Kemp on a rope and didn't really see the edge rusher. That's poor vision by him. If anything you could take away from it is that you didn't see the D-line kind of encroaching over his spot, over his eyesight. Really, that shouldn't happen, though, for Harburg. Like, he's 6'5". Harburg is a tall guy. You should not have balls batted down. If you're getting balls batted down, it's because you don't have good vision as a quarterback and you can't see the D-line in front of you. So that was kind of a bad pick. I mean, besides that, really wasn't like too much there. Billy Kemp was open, so not the worst in the world, but yeah, it was definitely avoidable. Yeah, the running game was awful. I just mentioned that on my notes. Linebackers had a bad game today, man. I talked about them all offseason. I said I do not trust Reimer. I do not trust Henrich. Yeah, they were bad today. Real bad. Harburg, honestly, I wanted to see a lot more of him passing the football. I kind of liked him. I kind of liked him passing the football today. A little better than I thought he was. Not to say he was great passing the football, but he had some good progressions. Found Kemp for a big gain. He was pretty solid in the pocket today. When he had time, he kind of stepped up in the pocket and made some good reads. So I was kind of impressed for Harburg in that standpoint. But there were times where, again, the progressions just aren't there with him. It still is that case where he has one guy. You see him. He's looking to the left side of the field. It's not there. He either forces that ball in there or he runs. Okay, he doesn't say, doesn't have the ball, looks to his left, find anything there, looks to the right. Never happens. Okay, ever with Harburg. So that's one thing I just need to see from him. I need to see him learning his progressions and going through them, because it's been 3 games now, and I don't think I've seen him go through a 3-step progression once. That is frightening, especially when you play better teams like a Michigan. You're going to be exposed, and he got exposed today in that regard. I mean, he was eyeing out receivers as well. But honestly, Harburg had a decent game today. I liked Harburg. I thought he kind of proved some things when kind of throwing the football that I was worried about, so that's okay. I was kind of hoping that in the second half we'd throw the ball a little bit more, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if Sims came in the ball game just to kind of see what Sims had, because we were going to lose the game anyways. It would have been okay to just give Sims a drive and see maybe what would have happened, but they decided not to do that. It's whatever. O-line was real bad today. Corcoran had a couple false starts. They didn't call some of them. The O-line was just horrendous. Ben Hart, of course, is terrible. Like I just keep saying it, these are the worst two tackles in college football. Like in college football, these are the worst 2 starting tackles, without a doubt. So they were really bad. They were really bad. Ben Scott was all right today. Norton Newelly was okay today. Ethan Piper was not good today. So that's your O-line. We were down, I want to say it was 14-0, and we had a 4th down and 1. And this was probably, your only chance to really make this a ball game. You were driving in their territory. 4th down and 1. And you took a timeout. You were discussing the play call. What did Marcus Satterfield and Matt Rule have? They had a shotgun quarterback run on a 4th down and 1. Are you kidding me? Like, I came out from that, I was screaming at my television. I was like, that is such a Scott Frost play call. All this stuff about the fullback, all the stuff about quarterback sneaks and going under center, and on a 4th down and 1, you decided to do a quarterback draw from the shotgun? Like, that was, if you got that 1st down and you ended up scoring on that possession, we could have had a whole different ball game. But that killed your momentum from the beginning. And yeah, we lost because of it. So that was a terrible play call. Another really bad game from Satterfield, dude. Yeah, really bad call. After that, it was just kind of all downhill from there. McCarthy, again, he had all day in the pocket. I mentioned that in my notes. He had a couple big runs where it felt like he broke out of the pocket and he ran for 20 yards without being touched. That cannot happen. We were running a lot of man coverage today. Hartzog was awful again. Roman Wilson was picking him apart. There was another receiver. Cornelius Johnson was just having a great day as well. They were open a lot. McCarthy didn't find them a lot of the times, but yeah, they got open. Let's see what else I have in my notes. Yeah, Hartzog gave up a touchdown. I said in my halftime notes, I said the offense is abysmal, can't run the football. And I said that our defense is bend, don't break. And I said we said this against Minnesota. It was bend, don't break. You don't want to give up big plays. That's fine. But when you play good teams like a Michigan, bend, don't break is going to break. Okay, because they're going to march on the field every single time. Michigan only punted this ball one time today. Only one time. Or, okay, maybe more. But I think somewhere in the third quarter, they only punted the ball one time. And then every other time, they went down the field and scored a touchdown. So that was frustrating. Yeah, you just can't have a bend, don't break defense. You got to be a little more risky. That is what Syracuse football was all about when they had Tony White, was that they were going to force turnovers and be risky and bring the blitz, and we have seen none of that. This defense I talked about, I thought it was a little bit overrated. It proved today that it was overrated. Yeah, it's an overrated defense. It really is. We didn't have any pressure on the quarterback today. The secondary was not as good. The linebackers were atrocious. We got exposed against a really good team. And we didn't put up a fight, man. We didn't put up a fight. This is the last bit of my notes, and then I'll get back to the comment section real quick here. Marcus Washington, like first play, the second half, had a huge yard after catch, gain of 50. It was a good read by Harburg. He throws a nice spiral, man. He really does. Harburg can throw a really nice spiral and fit it in there on a bullet pass. Really good job by Marcus Washington to make a good play. I love Marcus Washington. He's my favorite, man. I think he's the best wide receiver on this team. He needs to get more touches. Anthony Grant had a fumble. We recovered it, but man, can't have that. Almost was crucial. We were driving. False start again. We had a sack. And that was, again, this is the first drive of the second half. And then Alvano missed a field goal. So, yeah. And then I kind of just stopped taking notes. It was over at that point, and I was just so frustrated. So, let's get into the comment section here. Isaiah Coleman. Love you, Isaiah, man. He says, why would Matt Rule say Michigan is the team we want to be and expect to come out and win? I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, today it didn't look like a team who wanted to win. It really didn't. Like we had no energy. One thing I noticed is that we make things look so hard. Well, like you watch, I was watching Cal and Arizona State play. They make things look easy, right? They can throw a football 20 yards down the field, for an easy gain. Why can't we do that? Like it's the simplest stuff that we make look so hard. And then when it does happen for us, we're like, oh my goodness, we had a 20-yard completion. Like, it shouldn't really be that hard. Like, these aren't rare plays. We make everything offensively look hard. When we have a big play defensively, we make it look, like, oh my goodness, guys, we got a sack for once. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I never felt like this under Frost. But yeah, I don't understand. We just didn't have any energy today, Isaiah. We had no energy. Mr. Raj says, right up the middle, made no sense. Yeah, that was an awful play call by Marcus Satterfield. I mean, inexplicable play call. It was no reason to have that. Again, I wanted to go for it. Like I was saying to myself, I want to go for this. Like you need to go for it to really give yourself a chance to this ball game. You're not going to win this by taking field goals. And for them to go out there with a shotgun quarterback draw, worst possible play call. I would have rather, pass the ball and see if you can find a guy in the flat than do something like that. With this D-line, awful. Mr. Raj says, Alvano can't make a field goal. We need Bleak Road. Yeah, I think Bleak Road needs to be our starting kicker from now on. Without a doubt. Alvano, it's nothing against Alvano. Like, I think he'll be fine in a year or two. I think he just, when you're a freshman kicker, sometimes the nerves will get to you. His kicks, man, have been off. Way off. Today had no chance. Against, let's say, it was Colorado. No chance, right? Like, this guy has been really bad. I think it was against, I want to say, it was against Northern Illinois. He also missed one, so, yeah, he's been off, man. They've not even been close. He cannot start. But as for Alvano's future, I feel okay. I'd say it says, why does Matt Rule think he's a genius by substituting our defensive line personnel every down? Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Same thing goes offensively. It feels like there's 3 or 4 subs every single down on offense. And it seems like, Ty Robinson will make a really good play on a run play. And then they'll take him out. And then we'll switch it up every single time. Like, good teams don't do that. Good teams don't take their starters out of the ballgame every play and then put them back on. It doesn't work like that. And we don't have good enough depth for that to even make any sense. And it's not working. Right? So, I hate that. I hate it. It happens offensively too. Like, there's too much shifting, right? Like, you're taking out Billy Kemp every other play. You're taking out Marcus Washington all the time. Alex Bullock, you're taking him out, even though Alex Bullock should never play for us. Like, I don't even think I didn't notice Alex Bullock at all today. I don't think he had a single catch. He never does. But yeah, Alex Bullock. I'm not a big Alex Bullock fan. I think he should not play. But yeah, like I don't understand all the substitutions by Matt Rule. It's contradictory. You just don't need to do it. You're wasting time. And we wonder why we have all these delay games and false starts. Well, when you're changing personnel all the time, yeah, that's what happens because people are confused. It's really frustrating, man. So keep putting stuff in the comments, guys. Let's get real quick into the box score. So yeah, now we're 2-3. JJ McCarthy, man, 12 for 16, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Made it look easy today. Blake Corum was absolutely dicing us up. 16 carries for 74. Donovan Edwards had a good day too. Honestly, like the averages look not great, like 4 and 3. But man, if you were watching that game, it was not that case. They were killing us. Roman Wilson had a good day for 2 tutties. They were doing everything that wanted offensively. I know like the offensive stats don't look particularly amazing, but they were doing everything they wanted against us. Let's get to our stats. So Harburg actually had 200 yards passing, 14 for 25. Not bad. One INT, we already talked about it. It wasn't really his fault, but as a 6'5 quarterback, man, if you're getting balls batted down by the line, you're doing something wrong. Fleeks is our rushing leader with 1 run. Cool. Very cool. Anthony Grant, 6 carries for 16 yards, an average of 2.7. That'll be great. Emma Johnson, Janarian Bonner, like, we kind of went away from our identity today. Like there was not many carries. I think they knew that's what you didn't need. Like I talked about this my post game show last week. I said you cannot go into Michigan expecting to run the football a lot because of how good their D line and linebackers are. I didn't expect them to do this though. With only 21 carries, that is a little bit different. Billy Camp had a good day today. Fedoni had another solid game. Like I just need Fedoni to be more consistent. Fedoni's a talent, man, and he just needs to get open more, right? And you can see Harburg's eyeing him down every other play, right? Because he's his favorite target. But Fedoni just needs to be more consistent. Other than that, nothing really impressive here. Defensively, Henrich led tackles. Henrich was really bad today, man. Really bad today. Like, don't let the tackles fool you. He was terrible. Him and where is it? I'm trying to find him, man. Where is Reimer on here? Hold on. Did Reimer not play today? Am I out of my mind? Hold on. Check if Luke Reimer even played. I thought I saw Luke Reimer out there. Okay, Luke Reimer did not play. I must have been thinking of... Who was I thinking of then? Couldn't have been... I don't know who I was thinking of then. But yeah, Luke Reimer did not play today. I might have just been thinking of Nick Henrich today. But yeah, Nick Henrich was awful. Really bad game. Isaac Gifford, 7 tackles. Man, he was really bad in the secondary. He gave up that touchdown at the start of the game. Buda Wright played all right. I really liked Buda Wright today, man. Javin Wright played a good game. Gabayer was all right. That was one of my guys. Still hasn't had that breakout game I've looked from him, but he was okay. Tamal Linham had some playing time, so that was good to see. I'm a big Tamal Linham guy. But other than that, like, these stats are just really not inspiring. Let's go to team stats. This will tell you a story. So 3 for 10 on third down, 1 for 3. Rushing the footballs is really bad. 4 penalties for 30 yards, 1 turnover, and then we got absolutely dominating time possession. Time possession will tell you everything you need to know about this game. They dominated us in that regard. Really frustrating, man. Really frustrating. Okay. Let's get back to the comments here. Hold on. There we go. Reimer's out here. Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw him out there, but I think it was just Henrich. But yeah. Isaiah Coleman says, the second play of our first offensive drive, Satterfield puts HH in the empty backfield and throws a pick. Yeah. Awful. I mean, it's inexplicable. It doesn't make any sense. I was kind of impressed with Harburg today. Again, I talked about it a little bit before, but I don't understand going from a completely run offense. And I said we needed to go away from it. We didn't need to go away from it this much. We don't have good enough receivers to compensate that. We don't have a good enough O-line to compensate that. So the way you win this football game is you run the football at will, at least try to, burn some clock, and then get the offensive passing game going, right? That's how you win this ball game. You weren't going to win the ball game by running 80% of the snaps, correct, right? But you weren't going to win this ball game by throwing 60% of them. Wasn't going to happen. So we couldn't allow ourselves to be put in a situation where we're not dominating time of possession, and we put ourselves in a position where we did, and that's why we lost, because Michigan absolutely controlled the game from the get-go. Mr. Raj says we missed a lot of tackles and we're out physical. Yeah, completely. There were a couple plays where Blake Corum just made a couple really good moves off the line of scrimmage, just fought for some extra yards, and the O-line would push him for an extra couple, right? They looked like the better team today. Completely. Trenches were so much better than ours. Their O-line was incredible. Their D-line was incredible. They looked bigger than us. They looked stronger than us. They looked like they wanted to win this game more than us. I'm just really uninspired by this team, man. I'm just really uninspired by this team. There was nothing today that we did that made me think, okay, I can take this and feel good about it going to Illinois. Nothing. And sometimes that'll happen to you, when you're playing a really good team like Michigan. But it's just really, really frustrating, man. I think we need to put Evan Cooper on the hot seat. Secondary has been a suspect with Hartzell and Gifford. I think Cooper provides you some value recruiting wise. So I don't really want to put any coach on the hot seat yet. I think if there's one coach you need to put on the hot seat, and I don't think any coach should be on the hot seat just yet. Obviously, because we're only 5 games in, and it should be Garrett McGuire. Garrett McGuire has been terrible, and that was the most suspect hiring all offseason by us. We hired a 24-year-old to be our wide receiver coach. We hired a 24-year-old to be our wide receiver coach. He's never been a wide receiver coach before, never coached in college before. He was with the Panthers as an assistant. And he has been terrible. He has been terrible. Our true freshman wide receivers have barely got playing time. Jalen Lloyd's barely, and they touched the field, they just haven't done anything. Like, Jalen Lloyd gets some snaps, hasn't really done anything. Malachi Coleman's been on the field a couple times, hasn't done anything. We haven't even seen Demetrius Bell. We haven't even seen, Jeremiah Charles. I'm not a Gary McGuire fan. And you know what was funny, right? I was scrolling Twitter today, and a name came across my timeline. Amarion Miller. Do you guys remember him? 4-star. He was committed to us. And he ended up flipping to Colorado once Matt Rowe got hired and Garrett McGuire got hired. Amarion Miller was a 4-star out of Louisiana, and he had 200 yards today receiving for Colorado against USC. And people were saying how much of a phenom he was, and how, oh my goodness, they found a true freshman who can really play for him. And I was thinking to myself, why can't we have that? Why can't we have a true freshman who can, give us productive snaps? Because it feels like whenever a guy gets to Nebraska as a true freshman, it takes them forever to learn the playbook. Oh, the playbook's just so in-depth. They're going to have to take 1-2 years to learn it. This doesn't happen for other programs, guys. Like, are you watching other teams? True freshmen get there in the fall, they get there in August, and they're playing by September because they learn the playbook like that. But for us, it takes forever for them to learn the playbook. They just can't touch the field. Or is it a talent issue? Because it's one or the other. And it always frustrates me because our offense is really not that complicated. And you look at the NFL, right? You see players get picked up, and I get it, they're professionals. But you see players get picked up on Wednesday, and they know the playbook, and they're playing 60% of the snaps by Sunday. But these true freshmen can't learn a basic playbook for Nebraska. It's frustrating. So yeah, Garrett McGuire, that's my little rant about him. Was not impressed. Let's get back to the comments here. Colin, appreciate your comment, Colin. He says, Bowling Green, Eastern Carolina, and UNLV were all more competitive against Michigan and Ann Arbor than we were at home. These it's only year one excuses aren't valid. Correct. Completely agree with you. Yeah, Michigan was not incredibly impressive their first couple games, right? And I keep saying this in my post-game shows. Like, I hate when people come on here and say, it's only year one, right? Don't be negative. It's only year one. It's going to take time. Other programs fix their situation like this in the current state of college football. It doesn't take, 5 years like it used to. It can happen in 1 year. So, the whole narrative that's only it's only year one. It doesn't work out that way, right? And I also hate it when people come in here and say, "Oh, you're so negative, Wilson." Like, yeah, I mean, as a fan base, we kind of deserve to be negative. Like, I'm a senior in high school, right? We have not made a bowl game since I was in elementary school. Can you believe that? Like, that's how long it's been. So yeah, as a fan base, we deserve to be a little bit pessimistic. We deserve to be a little bit disappointed in our group. So, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's only year one, we're just going to look for improvement. Like, no, I want wins, man. We all want wins. That's the sport. Memorial Stadium is having a big project ahead of them, right? They are completely redesigning the south end zone. It's like a $400 million project. Every single one of those donors wants us to win. They're not funding that because they love the university. No, they love Nebraska football. They love what we did in the 90s. They want us to return to that. Okay, you don't see programs like Stanford have these huge stadium renovations because their donors don't care about football because they're not good. Yeah, so it's whatever. Mr. Raj says, after what you saw today, how many games do you think we'll win? It's tough. I think we'll win 3. I think we'll only win 1 more. Either Northwestern or Purdue. Northwestern can ball a little bit, man. They beat Minnesota last week. Granted, Minnesota is not a good team. Like I said that, Minnesota's not good. And Northwestern did put up a fight against Penn State today in Evanston. So, they're a little bit of a better team than we've been accustomed to, but I still think we beat Northwestern at home. And then Purdue will probably lose to at this rate, but one or the other. I don't think we're going to beat Illinois at Illinois next week, especially not on a Friday night. Like, it's not going to happen. So I think we'll end 3-9, and hopefully we'll see a lot of changes in the staff, in the team going into next year. So yeah, Colin, appreciate your comment, Colin. He says the whole offensive staff is terrible. And by the way, keep putting stuff in the comments, guys. Love chatting it up with you guys. But Colin says, yeah, the whole offensive staff is terrible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Gary McGuire, really suspect. That was a bad hire. Donovan Raiola, he should not have been retained. The O-line has been terrible, and he was like, oh, we're going to keep him because he only had 1 year to prove himself under Frost. Like, no, the only reason why Matt Rule kept him was to try to get Dylan Raiola, and that didn't happen. Like, that was one of the most crazy recruiting strategies ever, and for it to not work absolutely screwed us because now our offensive line is just as bad as it's always been. So, yeah, he's really bad. We don't even have our tight end coach because he had a DUI in July. So we don't even have a true tight end coach. Garrett McGuire is 24 years old. Our running backs coach is actually solid. I like our running backs coach. I like E.J. Barthel. I think he's really good. Yeah, Satterfield's bad. Satterfield's really bad. Nothing else should be said. So yeah, I agree with you, Colin. I think, I think this staff, man, we need to see some changes, or we just need to see a completely re-schemed offense. And it starts next year with completely overhauling the team with talent. It starts with getting a new quarterback in the transfer portal. It starts with just overhauling this team, changing everything, man, because it's not working right now, and I just fail to see how it's gonna work. Especially after a game like this where you're just shot. So keep putting stuff in the comments, guys. I wanna look at some more things here real quick. Share my screen with you guys. All right. So I want to get into next week versus Illinois. Again, that game's on a Friday, 7 p.m. 36% chance to win that game. Do you really think? I don't think that's very accurate. I don't think it's very accurate. I don't know if I'll have a live stream covering that one. We'll see. I'm debating whether or not to go to a high school football game that day, so we'll see if I have a live stream after that one. But we'll definitely have a pregame show. Man, this will be a game where Nebraska has to win. I mean, you just have to win. To feel confident going into the bye week, you have to win this game. Illinois has not been impressive. They really haven't been. They struggled against, I think it was Kent State. It was either Kent State. I think it was Kent State they struggled against. Yeah, they should have lost to Kent State. They've not been good. Their quarterback play has been really bad. 7 picks already for Luke Altmaier. Reggie Love has been all right for them. Their offense has been really horrendous. And you look at their defense, it's been worse. This has been a really bad defense. They really miss Ryan Walters. This is not a great Illinois team. It really isn't, man. It really isn't a great Illinois team. You win this game by throwing the football. The same way you were supposed to win this game. You have to run the football, pass the football. You're not going to win this game running the football 30 times, 40 times. Because Illinois still has a good run defense. You got to try to throw this football, see what you can do. I do think there should be a quarterback battle going into next week. Harburg was all right today, but he still has done nothing to convince me that he's the guy for the rest of the year. So I still think there should be a quarterback battle every single week. But I think Harburg will inevitably get the start next week. So not really something we have to be too concerned about. Yeah, so that's going to Illinois. Isaiah says, what's your excuse for the play calling if you're asking Matt Rule? What's your excuse for the play calling if you're asking Matt Rule? I don't know. I think if I was Matt Rule and somebody asked me that question, I'd say something along the lines of talent. And I'd blame it on the previous regime, and I'd say, we just don't have the talent yet. Because at this point, Matt Rule is kind of running the offense where he feels like this is going to fit our talent levels the best, right? The option offense, he feels like this fits the team, and he's saying, okay, right, we don't have any good wide receivers. Our O-line is not great in pass pro, so we're just going to run the football down their throats. And he feels like he's going to say, we're handicapped for that reason. But that doesn't excuse bad play calling like the shotgun run on 3rd and long, or not 3rd and long, 4th and short. That doesn't excuse completely changing up the scheme and having so many substitutions every single game. It doesn't excuse starting Alex Bullock. It doesn't excuse just all these questionable things that he's done, and starting Jeff Sims. Like, man, I don't know. I just don't even want to hear about Matt Rule. Like, I haven't tuned into his press conference since week 1. I don't want to hear it. Like, it's time for results to do the talking, not him. So, yeah. Colin says, every other Nebraska YouTuber is going to make an excuse for this shit show, and excuse me for my language there, and tell people they're bad fans if they're not happy, and it's going to take 3 years. Thankfully, we have you. Keeps it real. Man, I appreciate that, Colin. And it's funny. People always come in my comments like I think my last video against Louisiana Tech, people were really just mad at me. They were like, "You're so pessimistic," and like I'm just sorry. Like we're a bad team, man. We're a bad team. Like it's very hard to keep it optimistic right now. It's very hard. And part of being a fan is accepting the fact that you're not good right now. That I refuse to be a fan who sits here for a 2-3 team who just got blown out by Michigan today and say, "Oh, we have something going for us." Like we don't. We don't. We're not good. We're not going to be good this year. It's just, and we got to accept that as fans. And sometimes we have to be a little pessimistic because sometimes when you're pessimistic, it gets things done, right? Maybe the fact that I'm just saying whatever here, but maybe the fact that we keep showing up every Saturday and putting 90,000 in the stands is one of the reasons why we're still bad. Because maybe the athletic department thinks that they can get away with this and that no matter what the product is, the fans will keep showing up and we'll keep making money, right? Like look at Illinois. When Illinois was really bad, their fans just stopped showing up. When Bielema got there and had some couple good years, they started coming again, right? Maybe that has to happen. So yeah, the fan base needs to be a little more pessimistic because that's the whole thing for you. I refuse to be a fan who sits here and just sunshine and rainbows all the time because it's not that. Sports is not that, man. It really isn't. There are a lot of good things going for us right now. There are. I still believe in Matt Rule. I still believe in his culture. I still believe in what he says. I just also, I'm gonna say, if I think Matt Rule is saying something wrong or doing something wrong, I'll put it out there. I'm not an expert. I'm just an analyst, right? I'm just here on YouTube stating my opinion, just like anybody else can. And sometimes, in order to get things done, we need to have conflicting opinions. So, yeah, I don't love when Nebraska fans are very optimistic as a group. They're very optimistic, too optimistic in my opinion. The whole Kool-Aid phrase came from us. The whole national championship thing that came from us. So I think we're a little too optimistic as a unit, and sometimes that's why it hits us really hard when we end up losing. So, yeah. Isaiah, appreciate your comment, man. Are we more competitive with Logan Smothers or Casey Thompson? Oh, absolutely, Casey Thompson. Without a doubt, we'd be more competitive with Casey Thompson. I can't really say though, because Casey Thompson, of course, he's out for the year now with an ACL injury. But yeah, Casey Thompson would have been the best quarterback on our roster by far. I talked about this when he was still on the roster. When was it? Like February, January, when Jeff Sims got here. I said, if Jeff Sims and Casey Thompson have a true quarterback battle, Casey Thompson will win. Because Jeff Sims fits the offense better, but Casey Thompson's just a way better quarterback in every regard. So yeah, we'd be more competitive with Casey Thompson for sure. And we were last year, right? When Casey Thompson was with us last year, we really didn't get blown out against anybody. Except Michigan. And Casey Thompson didn't even play in that game. So that's the way I look at it. And I can't remember. Did Casey Thompson play against, did he play against Oklahoma? Can't remember. We got blown against Oklahoma, but I can't remember if he even played in that one. So, yeah. We absolutely would be more competitive with Casey Thompson. As for Logan, I'm not sure. I actually want to check up on Logan Smothers really quick here. I want to see how his career's going. I forgot where he landed. I think it was like Jacksonville State or something. Hopefully my screen's shared with you guys. There we go. Let's check what's going on with Logan Smothers. So yeah, he's with Jacksonville State. I was right. Oh, nice, man. Nice, he's starting. Really nice. 0 INTs. I like this. I like this from Logan, man. Wow, really nice. Yeah, I love this. As for if we'd be more successful with him, yeah, I think so. I think we would. I really like Logan Smothers. I was a Logan Smothers truther when he was here. I wanted Logan Smothers to get time, man. And it really frustrated me last year when Chuba Purdy got snaps over him. Like, I was like, Logan Smothers is so much more talented. But yeah, Logan Smothers would absolutely be better than Harburg and Sims. So yeah, we'd be in a better position for sure. Colin says, yeah, that was Mickey's first game as a coach. Yeah, I don't think Casey played in that one, but yeah, really frustrating loss there against Oklahoma. I was at that game too. Colin also says, yep, I wish the fans would stop showing up like the FSU and Miami fans did. It worked out for them now. Yeah, like, I mean, I think, kind of apples to oranges there. Like, Miami's just fan base is really bad. Like, even when Miami, I think, Miami had some good years a couple years ago and their fans still didn't show up. FSU is a really good example, though. FSU, when they were really bad, they did not show up at all. And now, when they're good again, they have Mike Norvell, sellout crowds every year, every single week. They're a great fan base. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do a little bit, right? I'm tired of showing up and having 90,000 for kickoff and then having 50,000 by the end of the first quarter because everybody leaves, right? Like, let's just end the sellout streak, guys. Let's show them. Let's show them that, hey, we're tired of dealing with this, okay? Because sometimes as a fan base, you just need to be pessimistic, man. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. Okay, I'm a Washington Commanders fan. Our fan base stopped showing up to games because we hated our owner, that being Dan Snyder, and that got the message across to him, and that got the message across to NFL, that hey, we need to get this guy out of here, and they ended up getting rid of him, and now the fan base is starting to come back, not because the team's getting better, but because they finally had something go their way and they got rid of the owner. So I think we need to take a similar approach and kind of just stop showing up to games, man. And I know, that's going to hit some fans the wrong way because we've had this salad streak forever. But I truly believe that we need to do something as a fan base to kind of show the athletic department that, hey, this needs to change immediately. We are not okay with getting blown out by Michigan, no matter what, right? I get it. It's year one. I am not okay with losing ever. I'll put it that way. We have too much resources. We have too much funding. We have too much, NIL collective, too much recruiting tools to get blown out by Michigan. We have too much of that to lose to Minnesota or lose to Colorado and get embarrassed. So I'm never going to be okay with a loss. I'm never going to sit here and, claim a moral victory. And no one should as a fan base. We shouldn't do that. Because we're Nebraska, man. So we need to stop adopting this loser mentality when we're not a loser program. Or at least we shouldn't be. So, yeah. Isaiah says, Chuba is our only hope for 3+ wins. I agree. And again, Harburg didn't play awful today. I'm not going to sit here and say Harburg played bad. I thought Harburg played pretty poor against Louisiana Tech and Northern Illinois. I liked Harburg today. But with that being said, I think Chuba is still our best quarterback when it comes to throwing the football. I don't think it's close either. I think he has the most pocket presence. I think he can go through his progressions. I think he can play without turnovers. Something we haven't seen Jeff Sims do. Something, Harburg's kind of done, but Harburg really hasn't had full command of the offense to even do so. So, yeah, I think we need to give him an opportunity. And I don't think Matt Rhule will ever give him a chance because he doesn't want to run this offense. He doesn't want to run a spread offense. He doesn't want to run a pro-style offense. So that's why you'll never see Chuba really as quarterback one. So, yeah. I really hate this by Matt Rhule, though. I think it's frustrating that all offseason, he was hyping up Jeff Sims. And he said Jeff Sims is going to be a Sunday guy. He said Jeff Sims is a rising star. And this dude, I have never seen a coach hype up a quarterback as much as Matt Rhule hyped up Jeff Sims. And for Jeff Sims to go out there and play as bad as he did the first two games, and for us to immediately go away from him, that tells you everything you need to know about our evaluation. There was no quarterback battle. Okay? Casey Thompson said on his Instagram, I think 2 weeks ago, that he never wanted to leave Nebraska. He was forced out, right? The staff basically told Casey, hey, you can stay if you want to be our backup quarterback, but we're not going to, have a quarterback battle, okay? And that's frustrating for Matt Rhule. So that one I will hold Matt Rhule accountable for. The fact that he deliberately took a bad quarterback out of the portal. He stuck to his guns. He forced a good quarterback who we already had on the roster out of the program. He stuck to his guns. He said, hey, we're gonna start him no matter what. And we ended up being really bad because of it. Colin says Dave Portnoy from Barstool was in Lincoln today and was at the game, and he was saying all day the Nebraska fans deserve better, and of course Nebraska fans were mad at him for being negative. I didn't see the last part. But yeah, he was definitely saying that. Love Dave Portnoy. It was cool that he was in Nebraska. Definitely, when guys like him are in Nebraska, guys like Will Compton come back, big celebrities kind of when they're around, it makes everything seem a little cooler around Lincoln. We just need stuff like that. So, was definitely a big fan of that. But Dave Portnoy, hopefully he can come back and maybe next year next time we play Michigan. We don't have our yearly series with them anymore, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was really cool to see Dave Portnoy in Lincoln. But yeah, anybody else have any comments? Let me know. I'm gonna start to get out of here, but yeah, put in your final comments that you want me to address or anything you want to talk about. But yeah, just kind of a frustrating win, or excuse me, a frustrating loss today. I want to get really quick to show you my screen again. We'll go to our schedule going forward. So let's see. We play Illinois next week. I just can't see a win. I just can't see a win here. You play at Illinois on a Friday. Yeah, can't see a win here. Then you go into the bye week. Hopefully, figure things out. You have to have a quarterback battle over this time span. It's non-negotiable. You have to have a quarterback battle, a real quarterback battle. Between Jeff Sims, between Chad Purdy, between Hunter Carter. It should be a three-way quarterback battle. It should not be two-way, three-way. In straight up, don't make the decision based on who fits the scheme better. Make the decision based on who is the best quarterback. It puts us in a position to win. And if they do that and they truly go through that mentality, I believe that Chad Purdy should be and will be your starting quarterback. Yeah. Purdue, at home, we'll see what happens there. Purdue's not good. They're not good, but we're not good also. Same thing with Michigan State. You go to East Lansing. I don't love playing in East Lansing, even though we've had a lot of success there since we joined the Big Ten. Man, Michigan State is really bad right now. They're really bad. So that's a winnable ball game, but you never know. Maryland at home, that's a loss. Maryland's good. They're really good. They destroyed it in the end of the day. They're still undefeated. Maryland's a good program. We'll lose to them. In Camp Randall, that's a night game. It's his TBD, but that'll be a night game. We're losing. We're going to lose against Wisconsin. And then last but not least, Iowa at home. I think we'll lose too. I can't see it. I can't see this offense putting up enough points for us to win any game. I just can't. So, yeah, man, that's the stream. Anybody have any final parting, and whatever, let me know. Looks like we got one more comment here. Let's get to it real quick. So Colin, appreciate your comment. Appreciate you all day, Colin. Love all the comments you have. He says, I live in South Bend and got to hang out with Will Compton and busking with the boys before the Notre Dame Ohio State game. It was awesome. I'm in their new video where Will is excited about my Nebraska tattoo. Oh man, that's really cool, dude. I definitely got to check that out. Yeah, I love Will Compton, dude. Love him. Really good energy, really good dude. Love that he's comes back to Nebraska all the time. Like I always say this, like when Nebraska players go to the NFL or when Nebraska players, are in the media, it just helps us out. Really brings some positive energy to the program. So I'm big fan of Will Compton, big fan of busting with the boys. Really cool to have him in Lincoln. And I think this whole, busting bowl, even though Michigan, has dominated the series so far, I think that's really good for us to kind of have that going for the program. So appreciate you all today, Colin, but I'm going to head out. So everybody, before you leave, please hit the like button on this stream. And if you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. Just really helps me out. We're hoping to get to 400. So to everybody still left in here, if you could please hit the subscribe button, it'd be awesome. But yeah, we'll have pregame coverage of the Illinois game. I don't think we're going to have a live stream after that one just because it's a Friday night. There's high school football going on. I'll probably be out of game, but just watch out for that. We might honestly have one, so either way, we'll see. But that'll be it, everybody. So appreciate everybody coming through. Nebraska loses in dominating fashion. Nothing really to take away from this. We got to get better. We got to get better. Find a way to potentially keep next week competitive, and then you have a lot of things to address in the bye week. So that's it for me, everybody, here on the Will Stimmons Sports Channel. Appreciate everybody that came through, all the viewers. Love you guys, man. I mean, this is super fun. Love live streaming. Appreciate everybody. So Colin says, have a good one, man. Yeah, appreciate you, Colin, man. You've been awesome today. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good conversation. Grandpa Jim, appreciate you. He says, this is the number 2 team in the country, mugging a mediocre team. Completely agree, right? Michigan's just as good as their rankings is. And yeah, I think we're less than a mediocre team. We are a bad team. We are a bad team. So appreciate your comment, Grandpa Jim. And again, appreciate everybody coming through today. As always, go Matt Rule, go Big Red, and hopefully we'll get some more wins this year and we'll have some more celebratory things to talk about. But, couldn't be today. And maybe one day we'll finally have something like this go our way where we can have an upset against the number 2 team and we can celebrate that on the live stream. So, again, appreciate everybody coming through and see you in the next one.